release of the Orbital Strikes and 4.1 is finally here, and boy did we have a fun time with this one. With a full-on Polaris v Polaris battle, dogfighters coming in from everywhere as they plummeted the ground while we ran on foot. This new event is totally insane, and yes, we were able to steal from the entire thing. Not only is this insanely hard to do, but this was on the first day when everybody wanted a piece. And as we go through some of this, I'm going to leave some bits without me talking, just so you can watch all of the action unfolding. However, let's get into how to do this event and how we went about doing it. So for our first step, it was to go down to the land to one of the 3 locations whilst hunting for some keycards. And as we made it to the ground early on, we were able to run inside and clear out the ground team. But after we found these keycards and placed them into the retrospective places, sandworms began to rise from the ground. And so we had to be careful, whilst also being wary of any other players coming in. All seemed well and good, up until we finally completed that and went to open the storage doors. And as we did, retrieving the battery that we required, plus some components, ships came down and began blasting us as we tried to escape and get to our Cutlass Black and get away. However, that got exploded as another player got inside and we had to shoot it down before they took off. So with no ship now, we were stranded as fire rained from above. Eventually though, we had another Cutlass Black on its way and somehow just about made it through, as it seems something had distracted the fighters for now. But as we took the battery inside and started to fly away, we were being shot at, and now it was a race to get out of the atmosphere and get to Grim Hex. So narrowly avoiding all of that fire, we had made it to Grim Hex, securing our first battery, which for a first attempt was pretty damn good. However, you need 3 of these batteries to activate the laser, and so we had to go back to the second one. This is where things got a lot more interesting, as we got on the ground and continued to do the same, taking out the ground infantry. More and more fighters came in. And if that wasn't bad enough, an enemy Polaris began searching the ground and blasting at anybody it could see, and again, we narrowly avoided death. But eventually, there was only so much we could take as they blew up everything and we were having a real struggle finding any of the cards here. And as they picked us off one by one, there was 2 of us left that were not aware. They had infiltrated, got into the compound, and shot us both down. But now we knew that they had a Polaris, we knew we had to fight back with something with the same firepower. So we took out our Polaris. Fully manned, we were ready, and we headed over to the laser as we could see that they were all surrounding it, trying to get it activated and ready. But as we got close, fighters began to swarm us and the Polaris continued to attempt to ram us, and we were in an epic space battle. Now, although we were putting on some good damage on the fighters, they were flying in and out just at the right times to avoid taking too much damage, and so we weren't able to take any of them out. However, before long, they activated the laser, and we watched it fire into the ground. Knowing this had happened, we knew the ground was now open and we had to get down there to mine the resources. And so, our Polaris headed down. Making it to the ground, we sent out a strike team, and yes, I was part of that somehow. And so we ran on in, taking out anybody inside, and began mining. This, however, took a long time to mine all the resources, as we continued to have people trying to come in, taking away anything that we were getting. But we were holding strong and doing all we could to hold them back, killing many and having piles of bodies at the entrance. Slowly but surely we were taking casualties though, as we had to continuously revive each other and make sure that we had 2 men on the door at each time. As we were getting ready to go, bombs began to drop onto the hole, and we could just see explosion after explosion outside, and we weren't sure if we were going to make it. But as our Polaris got back to the ground after going back and repairing, we made it out there as we ran to get back on board. And somehow, all of us but one managed to make it on board, securing all of the ores and getting away back to Grim Hex safely, storing everything we had for now. Now, if that wasn't an epic steal, I don't know what is, because as a first time doing this event, this thing was absolutely insane, and I cannot wait to continue doing more of this. So if you enjoyed this as much as I did, please make sure you drop a like on it. And if you enjoy the content here, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of it, as we have another Detatrine steal coming up soon, which was the last one of the event, and it was an insane 700 plus steal from a C2. And it went a lot crazier than you'd expect. However, I will catch you all in the next one.